Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and this evening I'm still waiting for my brothers. That is Makobura, Simamo, Eric sometimes might, or and also Joseph might join us in the middle of the conversation. So I hope and believe that umekuwa vizuri, wiki yako endelea vizuri, sisi pia tuko ni kung'ang'ana. I know all of you are now aware that one of the greatest um, country music uh, genre composer and songwriter Dolly rested yesterday, and there's so many people who are asking how will the country music be without Dolly. Dolly is one musician that is very inspiring if you listen to her story. I'm one of those who love some of her songs, and I do love two songs. That is Cloth of Many Colors, and this one that Mama, Mama, when you go on your knees tonight, pray a special prayer. If you listen to the story of Dolly, Dolly would tell you how poor they were. They were not coming from rich. They were not rich. Yeah, of Dolly, but they were from poor family, and how the mother would get pieces of those clothes. Then to them, they were like maybe for those who gave them those clothes, they were that rags. Then the mother would get those pieces of cloth and mend them together. So it was a full cloth with so many patches. So that were rags, But like that is what she sings about that. But she has made so many songs, so many albums that are has done well. So today, from yesterday, people have been saying good stories about her. But like, if you're a good lover of music, especially country music, I don't think like you can miss the Dolly Parton, especially on your collections or in your genre. And her songs were quite inspiring. So may her soul rest in peace. Also, we are going to Tanzania. Something happened in Tanzania yesterday. The vice president of Tanzania tendered his resignation to Suluhu Hassan. And there's so many questions that are coming in, especially so many people are asking. And you know, uh, when you look at the leadership of Suluhu Hassan, it is one leadership that has been marked with so many questions. Remember, um, Suluhu took power, especially after the death of Magufuli. Then he completed the second term that was left since she was the vice president of Magufuli. Then they went to election. When they went to election, Suluhu had election where the main challenger, that is opposition, the Chadema, they were not allowed to fill in candidates. And so many questions raises that. There's so many people who raise that question that why would you go to a competition without the real competitor? And what happened? She got 97% of the total votes that were cast. 97%. And after that, there was a protest. And what happened? So many people lost their lives, And if you look at majority of the documentation, they usually say that young people were shot dead and killed. Remember what happened with Larry Madowo when Larry Madowo was giving a documentary on that. So Suluhu, um, her leadership has been questioned. During her leadership, there are people like Humphrey Polepole who were very critical of the government. They went missing, until today. I don't know whether they know whether Humphrey Polepole have not been found yet. But he was taken from his residence at night, and you would see those pictures from where he was. It tell you that it was a rustle. So this is something that it needs to be quite much interesting, especially when you look at the history of Tanzania. One of the things that I would say that Kenya is much ahead of its peers around its bloc, is that the new constitution. When you look at Tanzania, Tanzania, ever since they got their independence, they've never actually had a new constitution, especially that are, let's say that people based, that this is our constitution, that we've contributed our ideas and how we want to rule ourselves. So they are still using the constitution of the colonizers who colonized them. But to look into it, these rumors that the relationship between the vice president, uh, Emmanuel Nchimbi, and Suluhu was not very rosy. They had political differences because they say that the vice president was speaking the issues that are affecting people, especially. And one of the things that he was advocating for is about the reforms, especially in the new constitution, that they should get a new constitution as a nation. So, and people say that that one did not go well, especially with the president of the day. And it reaches a point where, it is alleged, it reaches a point where he could not attend some of the state functions, that he was sidelined, especially in the duties. If you go further, if you dig deep, there's something that the president, especially the deputy president or the vice president, we call them, of Tanzania, this is what he said: "I'm convinced beyond doubt that Her Excellency and President desired a change. So I have decided to fulfill my promise." So when you read that statement, it gives actually that during their time working, it was not very rosy, because if the president wanted a change, if the president wanted a change, and this change did not come, or it was not coming through him, so he decided to resign so that that change could come. And this is even sometimes he said, especially in 2027 when they were taking office, kwa naweza mnukuu, alimwahidi Samia Suluhu on 27th of 2025, this is August, alipochukua kazi, nitamsupport kwa loyalty yote, na kama ikihisi inahitaji vipi mwingine, nitaacha kiti. Sasa hii inatuonyesha picha ingine tena, inamaanisha kwamba jamaa huyu alikuwa ametabiri kwamba labda yeye hatakuwa na rais kwa muda mrefu. Ndio maana anasema kwamba ikiishi kwamba inahitajika kuwa rais atataka uh, uh, umepotea wapi? I'm talking about yesterday, what happened yesterday, the vice president of Tanzania, that is Mchimbi, tendered his resignation. And in resignation, what he said that is retiring from public service, from active politics, and is going to rest. And he tendered this resignation to Suluhu Hassan, madam. And his tenure will end on 4th of September this year. So, but there are so many questions that are being asked. Remember, this is the second time that a VP is resigning under Suluhu. Yeah? Remember, this is the second time that the VP is resigning under Suluhu Hassan. And he's resigning after 10 months of working with president. But the sources reveal, there are those sources that say that there was misunderstanding or disagreement on the leadership that was happening, especially in the executive. Because it seems that the VP was pushing for new constitutional reform. Yeah. And this shimmering, there's been the quiet battles in. until there was a day on July of this month. I think no, July of this year. The vice president of Tanzania urged the Tanzania, actually, there's only one thing that he wants to tell them, and he was addressing the state function. One thing that I want to tell the people of Tanzania, that you should fight for new reforms. And this is say that did not go well, especially with those who are allied to the president, Madam Samia Suluhu. So it seems there is a political war that is happening, especially even within the CCM uh, and even the political field of Tanzania. Makobura, how are you doing? Hello,
Good
Makobura.
evening. I'm doing good.
Yeah,
You can hear me?
I can hear you well, my brother.
Yes, I'm doing good.
Mhm.
I'm doing good. I thank God. Allow me to say hi to you and to everyone in the comment section.
Yeah. Yes,
Yes, I'm
Makobura.
here. I am.
Yes, I was just waiting for you, and I was just trying to give a synopsis of what has happened in Tanzania. As you know, yesterday the Vice President, Dr. Emmanuel Nchimbi, resigned as a Vice President of Tanzania. And this one is the second, this is the second in command. And remember, under Suluhu Hassan, remember, even the first vice president that was working under Suluhu resigned 5 months after he was appointed. Remember, after Magufuli left, and he said that he is retiring from active politics and is going to serve, is going to rest. Retiring, I mean. But now there is another vice president retiring 10 months after they were sworn in. And he also retiring from active politics, you know, and not retiring from civil servants. Like he's not going to serve the country, he's becoming now a private citizen, you know. So
Okay.
maybe what would you read from that, especially with what is happening in Tanzania?
Okay. First, allow me to acknowledge. I'm now able to see the names of our friends at the comment section.
Yeah.
I can see Judith. I can see Judith. Thank you so much for finding time to be or to join us. I can see Good. Thank you so much as well. I can see the mentioning of the name Anendo, but I can't see. But Anendo, you are also welcome. Thank you so much for also finding time, and everyone who is watching. Just remind our viewers that over here we do say that your opinion counts, and therefore you are entitled to give your opinion, and so long as it is within the constitution, no one stops you, and that is what is happening in that is what happened to the former deputy president of Tanzania, a man that has done something that very few in Africa would do. And I
Yeah.
think Tanzania has some special breed of of leaders. That is what I can say, because we've had quite a number of them. Whenever they feel that things are not working, they will step down and let the country proceed, or let the people who can do it. I think that's a good move, and I would like to simply give my views on this particular you know resignation. The question that people are asking is, why did he resign?
Yes.
And the official explanation is that President Samia Suluhu Hassan wanted a different vice president.
Why?
And I'm coming to that. The deputy president Nchimbi is said that before taking the office, if you read everything and the explanation that has been given to the media,
Yeah.
Nchimbi is saying that before taking the office, he had promised the president, that is Samia Suluhu Hassan, that if she ever felt she needed another deputy,
Yeah.
he would step aside.
Mhm.
He said that he was convinced that she wanted a change. So
Yeah.
he decided to honor the promise that he had made.
Yeah.
and therefore his resignation takes effect as per 4th of September. That is according to the constitution of Tanzania. As from that point, he would be referred to as a former.
Mhm.
You know, the other question that is coming out here is, this thing appears as it appears more political background
Mhm.
than just a resignation,
Yes.
because let us look at the circumstances under which he came in, and again let us look at the all scenario, the political scenario of Tanzania. Remember, Tanzania and Kenya, there is no difference in terms of politics. The only difference is some of the oppositions within Tanzania and even Uganda, they are being silenced. They are being silenced to the extent where
Mhm.
some of them are being abducted and with fake or with with accusations which do not make sense. That is the only difference. The same challenges that Kenyan opposition are facing in the hands of the government are the same. Actually, it is even worse in Tanzania. It is even worse in Uganda as well. So my take here would be, the relationship between the two had
Yeah.
become strained, and if you follow the politics of Tanzania, uh, people had started speculating this.
Mm.
Of course, with the disagreements which were reportedly involving the governance and the government's handling of political unrest.
Yeah.
Some of the issues were the same issues that, for example, Rigathi Gachagua used to have with President Ruto. You
Mhm.
know, Mama Suluhu Hassan, the president of Tanzania, has a style of leadership.
Mhm.
Her style of leadership is one that I can call ruthless. Ruthless in the sense that I'm relating it, or I'm trying to call it ruthless because of the manner in which things were handled when they were having the election and
Mm.
the many lives, of course, which were lost. That particular style of governance, this deputy president was not he was not okay with it.
Mhm.
That was part of the political, the differences that this
Mhm.
particular member, the deputy president of Tanzania had with the president. The other
Yeah.
things are also the constitutional reforms, which he also mentioned in his resignation.
Mhm.
And he called it, uh, I mean, is among the people who are trying to push for a new constitution, saying that Tanzania needed reforms that would strengthen citizens' right
Mhm.
and, of course, the dignity of the people of
Yeah.
of Tanzania. Remember, this has always been on the media. The
Mhm.
CCM officials criticized those particular moves, and
Mhm.
if you can remember, when they were headed towards the general election, some of them even came out and said that there is nothing like changing the constitution. It will not be changed
Yeah.
forever and forever. Those were some of the comments, and majority of them was senior politicians who were giving those remarks, and some of
Mm.
them very young politicians. So
Mhm.
that is something that this particular deputy had a difference. And
Yeah.
remember, he's a member of the CCM.
Mm.
Automatically, when you have a political stand or a political view that is
Mm.
contrary to your political party, you automatically start having a problem. The
Yes.
others, of course, that he had issues with were the post-election violence, which you saw quite a number of them died,
Mhm.
and many people, even Kenyans, also had a tough time staying in Tanzania. And actually, an official inquiry reported that 581 people died during that particular uh,
Mm.
political unrest. That is a huge number.
Mhm.
This particular leader, he was more of an activist, the style that we are seeing the likes of Honorable James Orengo and Sifuna. He is
Mm.
that kind. So he was not comfortable with all these kind of things. And of
Mm.
course, the other issues were, of course, the issues of power. Remember, as a deputy and president, there are things or matters that you guys have to make together. He was being sidelined,
Mhm.
especially when he started having some positions on issues to do with with the constitution,
Sure.
issues to do with the deaths that happened and all those kind of things. You know, the governments do have intelligence, and whenever they feel that you are not comfortable with their bad moves,
Yeah.
they will always find a way of frustrating you. So
Oh,
that is the whole thing
yeah.
that I've gathered
All right.
for that
All
particular resignation.
right. Thank you so much, Makobura. And it's something that we're not going to dwell so much in. But like, just to bring you back, you see, when Magufuli died, remember Magufuli also had some conditions or some dictatorial positions that he took, especially concerning the media. There are some media stations that were banned. Even some journalists who at some point were scared of their lives. So when Madam Suluhu Hassan came, when he inherited the administration of Magufuli, he tried to bring what we call the press freedom. We saw Tindulisu coming home. But along the way, something really happened, and the kind of leadership and that hope that everybody had and said that, okay, now Tanzania is moving in the right direction, and we're having a woman on the seat who is bringing change. And things change, and people started to disappear. There was a young guy who we hosted here. Actually, he was a Chadema guy, very young, at 24 years, I think so. The initial status when we were starting this station, that young guy disappeared until today, is nowhere to be seen. There's also Humphrey Polepole. Humphrey Polepole became very critical and was very criticizing the government of the day. But he disappeared. Not only that, there are quite a number of people, especially in Chadema, who lost, who were missing. Again, you come to election. When you came to election, you see what has happened to Tunde Lissu. Until today, he's still fighting in courts. And it was the very first time that we saw actually Tanzanian going to an election without a competitor, where they said that she got 97%. And even during the swearing in, it took another turn that has never been seen in Tanzania. Now, if you look at under the leadership of Samia Suluhu, there are quite a number of things that has really would want you to ask so many questions, because in your tenure, before even 10 years of your tenure, two deputies, two of your vice president has tendered their resignation, especially one tendered his resignation. This was Mushimiwa Philip Mpango, who resigned in May 2025. And he said that mimi naenda kulima, nawacha siasa, naenda kulima. Kumbuka huyu ni mtu ambaye ni naibu wa rais, anasema mimi nimewacha kazi, naenda kulima. Na leo pia tunapata Emmanuel pia aye pia anatoka, lakini kitu ambacho kinashangaza wengi, ama kitu ambacho kinafanya utauliza swali about the promise that he made, and now is resigning because he feels that he has not fulfilled that mandate. And what that does one tell you when you look at politics, one, it might talk about the leadership of the president of Tanzania, is maybe he wants, or she wants, the VP to do something that the conscience does not allow him to do. And he said that, okay, I cannot do this, so the best way, let me resign. I was speaking also to one journalist over there. We were talking about it, and this is what he told me. Like, in the initial stages, this was something within the CCM, because the first person to talk about it was in parliament, when one of the members of parliament who allied to CCM talked about kuna wasaliti. And this one came after these rumors started to go around about the issue of new constitution and how the post-election violence was handled. So that's where the issue came. Then you come and listen to what the outgoing deputy VP vice president said. It tells you there's something wrong. And anyway, let's wait and see how the new VP who is going to come, how is going to handle this. But this one speaks a lot. Even in the CCM itself, there's so much that is going on in CCM that will soon come out. And another thing, Makobura, that we have to point out, in Kenya, if it could have been like this, it could have been something that is topic of discussion, and it could have been something that is trending. In Tanzania, it is not very easy, especially if you look at even the online media stations, like those who are doing the podcast. You will not find them doing political podcast. They usually do the entertainment. That's where like young people have gone. Like if you see the podcasters, the online TVs and all that, they majorly on the entertainment. They tend to leave the politics, maybe because they know the consequences. Anyway, that is Tanzania for you. Anyway, Makobura, thank you so much for joining this evening. Because a lot that we need to talk about today. Rigathi Gachagua had a presser, and he accused the government of the day a lot, especially talking about rigging of 2027 general election. He talked about a certain police station that is not gazetted. He's accusing them. So that is something that we also will be talking about. So Makobura, yesterday Rigathi Gachagua, this and the DCP received a lot of defectors. Especially, we want to focus so much on uh, the Kamukunji member of parliament, who is a Jubilee candidate. And if you look at right now, the latest wave, you find that Rigathi Gachagua is receiving quite a number of defectees from all these political parties, is leading in receiving defectees. And comes at a time when the fellow politicians are calling him tribal. He's a chief tribal, all that the names that they've given him in politics. Why do you think that one is so? Despite the campaigning him as a chief tribal, campaigning him as somebody of shares and a quarter time and all that, but he still has that, people still see him as the option. And now we are looking at Nairobi. You see, the Kamkunji member of parliament has joined him. What does that one speak about?
The truth of the matter is, quite a number of voters, let me say a 50-50. I don't want to be very specific. Let me say 50 are with the president, 50 are not with the president. That
Yeah.
is the truth of the matter currently in the politics of the Republic of Kenya. And it is okay. It is well. The reason why I'm saying that is because I personally I do work, and whenever I work,
Yeah.
automatically, sometimes when you interact, you'll find that this is a supporter of the president. Sometimes, if you work again, you'll find that this is a supporter of the opposition. So it is a 50-50. Let me put it. That is my own analysis.
Mhm. But
I'm not.
it is a 50-50. Now, when you look at Nairobi and how Rigathi Gachagua keeps on getting a veteran politicians like Yusuf, Hassan,
You
and this
know,
we know is coming
let
from
me.
Somali community. What does that one mean about DCP, especially with the Somali communities?
This is the reason,
Yeah.
and I'll speak specifically about Yusuf. You know, Yusuf is a very clever politician. He's clever in the sense that in his constituency,
Mhm.
majority
Yeah.
of the voters are Kambas.
Hmm.
That is the truth of the matter. Followed by Kikuyu. Actually, it is a Kikuyu community and Kamba community who are the majority, and
Hmm.
then thereafter comes the Somalis,
Hmm.
and then a mixture of others. So he knows very well. He understands one thing, that his people, majority of the Somalis will have to vote for him, whether he comes with whichever political party that is going to come with.
Hmm.
Number two, he knows and he understands very well that if he wants to pick the Kikuyu votes,
Yeah.
then he has to align with them. And
Hmm.
that is what he's doing. And
Yeah.
again, he also understands and he knows very well that it is between Kikuyus and Kambas who are the majority in his constituency. Therefore,
Hmm.
in whichever camp, if he goes the side of, if he goes the side of DCP, he will
Yeah.
get majority of the Kikuyu votes and
Hmm.
probably the Kamba votes.
Hmm.
If he goes, for example, he decided to go with the Wiper,
Hmm.
then he would have gotten the Kamba votes, yes. Probability of getting the Kikuyu votes would not be guaranteed. So he's a
Hmm.
clever person. And remember, politics is a calculation. It is not a matter of whether you're aligning with a political party that is from your home. It is a
Hmm.
matter of how you are going to win. and that
Mhm.
is the calculation that Yusuf has done, and he's done it perfectly. And I can tell you, with that particular combination, I mean, with that particular ticket,
Mhm.
he's going to manage, because truth of the matter is our politics are tribal based.
Yeah.
And being that he's a consistent and he's a long time member of parliament,
Yeah.
and him getting to DCP again
Mhm.
will possibly guarantee him a direct ticket. There's that probability.
Yeah.
That is number one. Number two,
Mhm.
being that is also from the the Somali
Mhm.
community, a
Yeah.
community that is also has grown. Rigathi Gachagua might use him as the point man to reaching this other region of the Somali community. And
Mm.
therefore, he has a bigger political bargain power in this particular party than when he was on the government side. Because on the government side, the top leaders from the Somali community, or that particular community of the northern eastern,
Mm.
the likes of Duale and the rest, have already occupied the space of negotiation. Therefore, the likes of Yusuf cannot have the opportunity to negotiate.
Yeah.
That is part, and that is the reason why you would have made that particular move.
But
Something else that you
mm. Go
yes,
ahead.
that you've asked of is why Rigathi Gachagua.
Mm.
Like I've mentioned or I've said, there's a 50-50. All the political parties within the opposition, they take bit of this 50-50.
Mm.
And the government side, let me put it so, and their parties also take the 50. So the question here is, why Rigathi? It
Mhm.
is Rigathi now because he's currently the most, let me put it as the most cunning in the sense that he is the most talked about,
Yeah.
not on how he delivers,
Yeah.
not on how he has mastered, but on how he plays his politics.
Mhm.
He plays his politics in a very dramatic, chaotic way. One that, of course, will every day capture the attentions of the people. That is the reason. That would be my
Okay.
take on that.
When you look at DCP, especially, I call it the latest wave. DCP has really received quite a number of sitting members of parliament and also a sitting member MCA, with the latest one being the one for Kamkunji. And Kamkunji it was for Jubilee. What does this one speak about um, the Nairobi politics? You will talk about that. Then, if I look again on DCP, just the other day, 10 MCAs of Kajiado, which means three kutoka ODM and four kutoka UDA and one kutoka Jubilee walikuwa wameingia DCP on August 10th. So that is that's like 2 weeks ago. Then you go again on UDA member of parliament from Gatundu South, Gabriel Kangobe. Two went and joined DCP. What is Rigathi doing so differently than these other political parties like Wiper, especially other Jubilee, are not doing to attract so many massive movement, especially from the UDA to DCP, from ODM to DCP? What is Rigathi Gachagua doing differently, bearing in mind that he has been named in
Yes,
politics the chief
I'll
tribal?
give my take on that, and this
Yeah.
is my take, or my reasoning on that.
Mm-hmm.
Kenyans are a funny breed,
Mm-hmm.
very interesting breed. They are the most, uh, you know, they're the most. How do I even put it? They are clever,
Mm-hmm.
and again, they like going with waves.
Mm-hmm.
What is currently happening is Kenyans like a combative
Mm-hmm.
political leaders.
Yeah.
Combative in the sense that they like leaders who would point out issues
Yeah.
with with some vigor.
Mm-hmm.
They will come out, fight something as if they are going to give solutions if they are given that opportunity on that particular day.
Yeah.
So that is how Kenyans do see Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua is tackling the issues head on,
Mm-hmm.
and he's also dramatic. Dramatic to mean that he makes certain moves which few people would believe that he can make certain those moves. Like he's somehow unpredictable.
Yeah.
That is one thing that Kenyans like, and that is why Raila Amolo Odinga did. For a long time, he was the favorite of the people of Kenya
Mm.
because he would simply get to the street and tell the people we are going to street tomorrow, we are having a holiday, and everybody would respect that.
Mm.
Rigathi wants to try get into the shoe of Raila Amolo Odinga on how he plays his politics. Remember,
Mm.
Raila several times. There is no single day Raila was called. I don't remember him being called by NCIC. I don't know, called by GDCI to go write a statement. I never heard of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Rigathi is coming out to start playing that particular, politics. The other day he was saying he'll not go to DCI, he'll not go to NCIs. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
truth, reconciliation, and what. And
Mm.
he's doing so. And if you look at the bigger picture, the people would then ask, what is the need of even going there? Is there any serious thing that he's going to do? So
Mm-hmm.
the people in their thinking also, they say it is a waste of time. Even if he goes, there's nothing that is going to change. So there's that support that he also gets, and
So.
he knows how to let me say, he knows how to evoke emotions at a
Mm-hmm.
particular time. When emotions needs to be evoked, he
Mm-hmm.
does so, and therefore he gets the sympathy from the people.
So, what do you think is this driving force, especially, or driving factor that is pushing, especially majority of this leader towards Rigathi Gachagua? Because, for instance, if you talk about
Mm.
Hassan, for instance, we would say that he's not an originator, or his origin is not from Mount Kenya, and this
Mm.
is somebody that has been in the leadership. Maybe there's so many things that he has done for his constituents, for a long time. Even
This
during this.
is this is the reason. Remember,
Yeah.
Jubilee Party and ODM dominated the Nairobi politics,
Yes.
and it was a 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
It has always been said that majority of Mount Kenya people are the ones who lives within the Nairobi,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just adjacent to the Mount Kenya region.
Mm-hmm.
So out of that thinking, we've always had, uh, Raila within his ODM. He
Yeah.
has always, mastered how to capture the votes of Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
And with his absence, there is no any politician that never lined with Raila Odinga would easily get their votes. But
Mm-hmm.
for years and years, whether they are from whichever part of the region, they would easily
Mm-hmm.
be identified with ODM or working closer to Raila Amolo Odinga. The reasons were the people
Mm-hmm.
of Nairobi were a little bit more focused. They were the first and people would receive and
Yeah.
experience what the country and how the country was moving. And
Okay.
therefore, if Raila talked about all those issues, they would feel part of that compared to the people in the ville, in the rural, whom some of them partly were not really exposed to get to experience what, the aftermath of the
Mm.
real economic revolution and all those kind of things. Remember, if with the absence of Raila Amolo Odinga, there is no guarantee that ODM will ever survive in the politics of Nairobi. That is one of the reason and
and
one of
and
the.
and and that's the question that I wanted to ask you, because there are those who are viewing this that in the next general election, based on how Rigathi Gachagua is kind of like getting majority of people shifting to his side, he might be the biggest beneficiary, especially in Nairobi politics, by gaining or getting majority of members of county assembly, uh, and at least some members of parliament, which has always been dominated by ODM. Do you see that one happening?
It is going to be possible, and it is going to go to his advantage. It
Yeah.
should have gone to the advantage of Linda Mwananchi.
Mhm.
Probably it might still,
Yeah.
but the challenge of Linda Mwananchi is one. They would have come up with a political party that
Which they're
they
trying to register.
identify.
They're still fighting themselves. They're still fighting in the
Yes,
courts.
if today they had a political party, if Linda Mwananchi was a political party,
Mhm.
I can tell you we would also be seeing quite a number of people shifting to Linda Mwananchi. The
Mhm.
only problem currently is majority of leaders do not want to associate with this government,
Mhm.
especially the Nairobi ones.
Mhm.
Those who are serious, who really wants to get to be re-elected,
Yeah.
they do not want to associate because if they come out at the last minute,
Mhm.
they would be told that you are not genuine, and therefore they will be irrelevant.
Yeah.
So most of these leaders, they try look at which window is open, which window can which house can we get into, and most of them are seeing it as they're associating it themselves with the DCP because it partly carries the vision of the Linda Mwananchi and of course the expectations of the opposition. Currently, Kalonzo Musyoka would also be doing good, but he has been quiet, he has been silent, and
Yeah.
therefore there is some lukewarmness in that particular party that people, if you get there, people would start asking you, why are you getting to a party that is, wameenda chini ya maji?
Mm.
So that is the reason why Rigathi Gachagua is getting that attention because he's been vibrant, he's been consistent.
Mhm.
That is why I've also said if Linda Mwananchi was also having a political party, you'd be seeing similar movements, both to DCP and
Mhm.
Linda Mwananchi. Or
Today.
if Wiper was also active as it had always been some before,
Yeah.
partly you would be seeing certain movements as well. Actually, if Wiper was more active,
Yeah.
we would have seen Yusuf shifting to Wiper
Mm.
because Wiper and ODM were almost similar in their views and thinking. They worked together for quite a long.
Mm.
Yes, that would.
Gachagua has seen that he has attraction of aspirants want to come to his party, both are currently serving and those who are aspiring to be. So he decided to form a committee of seven, and this seven especially is meant to receive the defectors, especially from other political parties, where the people who are going to be sitting in that committee include John Medhu, Cleophas Malala, uh, and some other leaders. um, how will this one play effect? Because how would you vet somebody, especially, people wants to run, you are a defector, maybe you've come from UDA, now you say to Rigathi Gachagua, I'm very sorry, I did vote to impeach you, but it was something that was planned and we were cornered, so please forgive me, I want to run on your party. How will this committee deal with that in case somebody come with such like excuses to convince them that I'm going to run on the DCP?
This is just a political PR, I can call it so,
Mm,
and it is. These are politicians.
yeah.
They know each other. They've
Mm,
been in this field for long. They've been interacting on a daily basis.
yeah. Sorry about
So
that.
sorry, yeah. So what I can say,
Mm,
the committee that is coming up with, the truth of the matter is, Rigathi Gachagua and his team, they know the people that they cannot work with. They
yeah.
know the people they cannot give a ticket.
Yes.
So this is more of a smart way of just kukuzungusha.
Yes.
Sijui kama ulikuwa unakumbuka vile ODM ilikuwa inazungusha watu, imewahi tuzungusha
Wewe
na
pia
najua.
wewe pia umekuwa mojawapo ya watu ambao walizungushwa na ODM.
Of course, yes, I have never forgotten when we were looking for a nomination ticket in in Nyakach sometimes back.
Eh,
Tulizungushwa, and
eh,
they promise you, actually you even find yourself paying money.
mm,
You are being told that this thing is for you, you have the ground, you have done everything on the ground.
uko na
Then
kijiti.
yes, and then at night, at
Eh,
around 3
eh,
at night,
mm,
you hear that there's a pro box moving with
mm,
moving with some boxes around, and then the
mm,
following day, the final day of voting, you realize that it was not about people voting.
mm,
This thing had been taken at night before you woke up.
mm,
So it is that funny, and I can tell you, huku in politics utazungushwa if you've not planned yourself very well.
Yeah,
You can even die of depression.
okay.
The only thing that can finish you
Uh,
within a single or within a small period, a small
uh,
span,
uh,
is politics. When you're
yeah.
getting into politics, prepare yourself, have a calculation of what you want to do and how you want to use your resources, or else you can die after those particular. You know,
Okay.
it
We
is the
want to
most
talk.
trickiest thing.
We want to at least give our views on the rigging that Rigathi Gachagua is accusing the administration of the day. But before that, a video from Kenya shows a security personnel is camouflage running a new gray SUV and a red deep path with the user saying a man unleashed the bee on him. Sasa kuna jamaa alikuwa ameenda kushikwa na mapolisi, kumbe ni mtu ambaye ni mkulima wa nyuki, akasema nyinyi mmekuja, akawachilia mapolisi wanakimbia wakienda. Hiyo ni Kenya, hiyo, that is our country Kenya. Now Makubura, today Rigathi Gachagua had a press, and there's so many things that Rigathi Gachagua raised, uh, the very uh, uh, issues here. And Rigathi Gachagua claimed that President William Ruto administration and the IBC are steering a tender towards South Korean farm Miru system, citing its past issues in Argentina, Philippines, and Congo. He alleged that plan involved creating a new voters registry to suppress opposition voices, with official already granting the company database access. Gachagua called on IBC chair Erastus Ethekon to ensure transparency and urged sticking with the current smartmatic system to avoid repeat of 2027 208 violence. The IEBC tender closes September 1st, but Gashagwa insists the winner is already decided. That is according to that. Then this is Dr. Miguna. This is what gonna. These are very good question at regard to which we need comprehensive answers from IEBC. However, we also want you to table evidence. You had stated links, Hassan Ali Joe, and to others, Miru Onas in Medhu, your aid to camp. So there's a big accusation here. What do you think should happen based on the allegation that uh, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is leveling on the current administration of the day?
I think, based on what we've always seen about Rigathi Gachagua and his comments and his allegations, majority of them, like he has always said, are given to him by the NIS.
Yeah.
I don't know which part of NIS he does get it. But again, just like he had always said sometimes back, that if Rigathi Gachagua tells you that there is some rain coming or it's going to rain, then prepare yourself.
Mm.
I think for the avoidance of doubt, it has to be investigated.
Who
Let
is
it
going
be.
to investigate? Who is going to investigate? The same government you're accusing, or who?
No,
Mm.
these are certain matters that even within the jurisdiction where we live,
Yeah.
there are matters that can be investigated, not internally, because there are
Okay.
matters that are, of course, touching on the government,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, even it's touching on the government and the leadership. So there's a procedure of doing that. But if it is so,
Yeah.
then first the procedure is the departments within the country need to come out and give clarifications on the same, so that the people of Kenya would not have doubts, because these are matters of, I can call it matters of death and life. What we experienced in 2007, 2008,
Yes.
it's something that can be avoided by just making the right systems. What we experienced in 2013, 2017, 2022,
Mm-hmm.
there are things which can be avoided when we have the proper way,
Of
the right systems of ensuring that the will of the people, as
mm-hmm.
per the constitution, the elections are verified,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's transparency in it.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever there's that transparency, we are human beings. You can
Yeah.
always sense and know when something is transparent or not. When something is verified or not.
Yeah.
So to avoid all this, many questions on the
Mhm.
minds of the Kenyan citizens.
Mm.
Let them do what is right. We
Okay.
understand we are in a technological environment, in a technological world,
Yeah.
but again, it is the people, it is the humans who have made these systems, so they know how it can be manipulated at times. So
Okay.
to avoid all this, let us just do what is right. That would be my view and my take on that.
All right, thank you so much. Today I saw especially members of parliament from Luo Nyanza. They were addressing Rigathi Gachagua, but that is not something that we are going not to speak about. But they distanced themselves that Moses Wetangula have never taken them to State House to get those letters. And one of the officials from TSC was, I think he's a member of, was asking people to bring evidence. Yet the evidence is the video that is going around that was said by the member, the president of the assembly, that is on Masika Wetangula. Yeah, so they are saying they've never been given any letter, especially to give to or to give to the teachers, especially in their areas. But that is something that was said by Moses Wetangula. Maybe your reaction on that?
Okay, my reaction to that is this. Moses Masika Wetangula, like you've said, is the president of the parliament. And, if it is allegation,
Mhm.
allegation which is tainting the parliament would warrant the removal of our speaker.
Yeah.
What has the members of parliament done on the same? Have you
Mhm.
had any petition questioning the speaker's conduct and his remarks on the floor of the house,
Actually,
on the coast of the Republic
if
of
if
Kenya?
if it was a working system, actually he could have been summoned, and
Of
to
course,
especially
that
before the committee that
that
in
is what
charge of
I'm saying.
education.
That is what I'm saying. Even the CIDs and the rest, he would have been asked to come and make statement to give clarification on what it meant, because it is against the constitution. It is against the wishes of the people. It is against the interest of the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
It is discriminative in nature. It
Mhm.
is misuse of power.
Yeah.
All those things warrants removal even of the president
Mhm.
if we were following the constitution to the latter. Because those are grave allegations. Those are serious things.
Mhm. All right.
And
We will.
you know,
Yeah.
it is strange that we live in Kenya and such things are happening, and yet the allegations are coming from the senior most. Moses Wasika Wetangula is a lawyer. Remember, he's a lawyer. And hey, this is Kenya. Saa zingine
Can, can,
unakaa tu hivi chini alafu najiuliza kwani where are we headed? Do we even have, like, you even question sometimes why people went to school and why they even call senior counsels if they can behave that way, and they're the senior most legal minds that we have in the Republic of Kenya.
like I was also reading a post somewhere where they were saying that even doctors at the county levels, for you to be employed, you have to pat yourself with not less than 6,000 USD. So, like, if you have to be employed,
Those things are happening, let me tell you, and not even within the government.
yeah,
Actually,
uh-huh.
in government places, it is much.
Yeah,
Even in private sectors. And remember, in private sectors, you can even get there, and then after 6 months, you are home.
you are
You
home.
are not guaranteed
Mm,
of that particular contract.
yes.
Actually, some of them are going to an extent where they
Mm,
even collude with the owners or with some companies. They get you into a contract which is neither here nor there. They will
yeah.
then, in the course of that particular contract, tell you that
Mm,
the company is things which are not making sense.
yes.
So it is that strange. We are experiencing, and we are also seeing all those kind of things, and they're not strange here in Kenya because
mm,
We do see them on a daily basis. And remember, we have departments, we have what we call legally mandated departments to ensure that all those kind of things do not exist,
mm.
and they're the ones who are actually enabling that.
Okay, let's stop there. We are still dealing with the politics of Nairobi. The other day, we saw Mama Ida was celebrating her birthday. And at some point, we saw Junior, and the political took a center stage whereby it was Mama was endorsing or Mama was freeing Junior to go and vie for Kibra seat. And this is not something that we would say it is new. If you go back in the history of Kibra seat, back in the days, even I think that before it was, because like I think it used to be Langata then. It was also say that they wanted Fidel, the late Fidel, to run for that constituency. Then it was Rosemary. Actually, Rosemary was for Kibra. And Rosemary came when the Okoth, Ken Okoth died. Remember Ken Okoth? And I don't know, something along the way, she got sick, so she withdrew from that race. And by then, Eliud Owalo was best friend to Baba by then, and Eliud Owalo wanted to run for that seat, but there was disagreement. He went and partnered with Musalia Mudavadi. He ran through ANC, and that seat was given to Imran Okoth, the brother to Ken Okoth. Then he finished the tenure of Okoth. Now, what is happening is that Junior Raila is going for Kibra seat, and yesterday Mama Ida was giving him out to the people of Kibera, bearing in mind that this Kibera has always been a home, like the home for Raila Odingas. They see that that is their home. What do you make of this, especially when you look at politics and bringing Junior? And if you look at Junior, Junior is not a very good orator, especially when it comes to politics. I don't know, because is a new entrant. He will get used to the political and get that vigor. What does this one speak to you? Makubure, you
Okay.
hear me?
Personally, if you ask me, I would say it's a wrong choice. Wrong choice for the people of Kibra. I mean Kibra.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, being that Raila Jr. is the son of Raila Moladinga, that does not warrant the fact
Yeah.
that he can fit in the shoe of his father. That is number
Yes.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, that does not warrant the fact that he would then understand Kibra and its environments and the needs of the people. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why I'm saying that is one, this is a gentleman who was born in the house of the political family. This is
Mm-hmm.
somebody who has never experienced difficulties in life. That is the truth of the matter. He's actually a prince,
Mm-hmm.
if I can call so.
But it's just like Uhuru
Kibra,
Muigai Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta never experienced any life because he was living in the
yeah,
state house.
there's no difference
Mm-hmm.
in the ones that you've given, but I want to give you a typical example.
Mm-hmm.
Going Junior going to Kibra to say that he wants to vie because he feels that his father was the first member of parliament of that particular place, and therefore he understands the place. Which the truth of the matter is, he has never stayed in Kibra. He stays in Karen
Mm-hmm.
and other places. I think that is fallacy that should not be admitted. Let us look into this matter with keenness. If Junior wants to vie for this particular seat, let him come as Junior. Let him not come with the mind that, oh, Baba understood this place and therefore I also understand. No. I think that is part of the problem we've had as the people of Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
where we've been viewing the son of politicians as their seniors or their fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Something that, well, they might have DNA and all those kind of resemblance, but the truth of the matter is the view, the thinking, the upbringing, and the fights are always different. And
Okay.
therefore, if Junior is getting into the field, Let him get into the field as other Kenyans who are vying for that particular seat.
Yeah.
But again, we acknowledge and accept the fact that he is the son of our super most powerful, the late Raila Amolo Odinga. And therefore, that then might give him some mileage, but coming with the mentality that he understands the place because his father did, I think that's a fallacy that we should not buy at this particular point.
So to me, this is what I think. I think of all, I'm looking at the succession of um, politics in terms of somebody who will inherit ODM. Remember, when you look at the initial stages, especially after the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, Winnie was emerging as somebody who would be the Raila Odinga of today. But somewhere along the way, something happened, especially, and that energy that people were seeing in Winnie uh, disappeared. Remember, there was a time Winnie went back to Kibra immediately after Oburu, where he was installed as the Luo elder. Remember that? And people saw that like this is Winnie fighting with his uncle. Then Junior now comes in. If you look at what is now happening in ODM, you'd tend to feel that Oburu is not going to hold that position for long. And when you look at Winnie, they would say that, okay, Winnie cannot hold this party since maybe she's a lady, so she cannot hold this party. So what they want to do, they want to take Junior through training. And how does that training work? They take you through political process whereby you vie for that particular seat. Immediately after winning, then you inherit ODM. So you will be like the leader of ODM. That is what I think. Secondly, it's also to keep the Odinga's legacy, especially the Raila himself. Forget about the Jaramogi, because we have the Jaramogi family and we have the Odinga family. And when you look at Odinga family, Raila's family, you see that is only Winnie who seems to be very vocal. So, and Junior, the man who was installed at the head of Raila's family, is not very vocal, and that's why he's going to politics. And this is just only to carry the Odinga's legacy. And you remember, Ida was also even telling him that when you're going on politics, there are some few conditionalities that you have to observe. One, you should be able to do clean politics without insults and violence, and talk to people about ideas. So the entire Junior coming into politics or vying for Kibra, I think is a succession. And now, where is this one going to leave Orero, who is also a member of, uh, is the current member of parliament for Kibra? This happens that Orero, his time is up, because I do not think even if they go through democratic process in the nomination, they will give him a ticket, or they will give him the certificate. I think Junior enjoys to get that certificate. Even if he doesn't run, he will be given, being the son of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. That's what I think.
That is very true.
Yeah.
It is very true. And that again talks about the democracy that we keep talking about.
You know, Makobura, you know
More so
something.
on the political side, on the
Yeah,
political party.
on the political side, because like maybe even just to talk about democracy that ODM is looking for. You see, the other day, you've heard how Chilayako says that he doesn't want, and the people of Ulinda Mwananchi to go to Migori, and even their supporters are saying no. But there's something behind the scene here that these people are fighting that we don't know. And I don't know who is going to win it. But when you take Orengo out of the equation, because we have Wanga, we have Raymond Omolo, we have Babu Owino, you know, to me, there is a shimmering, would I say, battle between these two, between the three. And the person who might lose it in the end goal might be Wanga. But the people who are going to be people battling to inherit the support base, especially of Baba in Luo Nyanza, would be, for now, we would speak of Raymond Omolo and Babu Owino. Yeah. The reason why I'm saying that is this. You know, Honorable Gladys Wanga is using the position that she has in ODM as the chair to consolidate uh, the followers. And at some point, is using a lot of money to maintain the bloggers and all that. And that's why the other day, remember, he said that if you feel like you are angry, you can collect yourself in a group and call me, and I will give you some money so that you can eat. It tells you how mobilization, especially to keep the foot loyal soldiers, he has to spend. Come to Raymond Omolo. Raymond Omolo is not a politician, but what Raymond Omolo is doing, especially in the widows, the widows and this empowerment that usually he sponsors, puts him ahead, because you find that every funeral you go, especially in the villages, you will hear the old women talking about, we want to see Raymond Omolo, which means they know there's a guy called Raymond Omolo, but they do not know him in person, you know? Yeah. And so many people are allied to him due to the fact that maybe he's approachable. And again, how he does his dealings might be very silently that people do not know. So it means he has a very organic, at some point, or right now, a good percentage of organic followers that are with him. Now come to Babu Owino. Babu Owino resonates with majority of the youth, young people. And because of his courage, because on how he does his politics, and because of his background, because people feel like this is the person that would speak for us. And this did not start the other day, even before, it started long way after, even before the death of Raila Molodinka, and even during the universities. And even if you go to the villages, you talk to people. There's a time I interview a guy in the village of Kisumu there. Everybody is thinking about, they know if they ask anybody who can can inherit the influence of Raila Molodinka is Babu. So you find that Babu Owino it is organic for him. So he doesn't spend much. Wanga is using the ODM, being chairperson and ODM as a grassroots in Luo, to mobilize and to stamp her authority. But in that process, he might be spending a lot of money to make sure that his wings are spread. You have so many surrogates and all that. So it's about for how long are you going to maintain that? So to me, I believe in the end of the day, the people who are going to be fighting about this base, at the end of the day, it will be Babu Owino and Raymond Omolo. That's what I think.
The politics, more so on the lower side or the
Mm,
lowland, it's going to be tricky because uh, there's a lot of people who are trying get to get to the elm or to get to the top, but it is not easy. That is why we are seeing even the issues of goonism. Some of them are getting into the goonism as a
yeah.
way of you know
Mm,
simply trying to come out to to show
mm,
or to behave in a manner that they would think that they are the leaders, but that is contrary to the people's expectations and what they are speaking about.
mhm,
So they still march. I think what we can do is still give them time, let them fight, so long as they are living and respecting the views of the people.
mhm,
Let them fight. Even if you have money, much
mhm.
money, at some particular point you'd have used it until
Yeah.
you don't want to use it more.
Eh,
So,
mm,
well, we understand the fact that the people are not doing, uh, the people are not benefiting out of that fight.
mhm,
But it is upon now the leaders to decide. Let them fight at the right time. Wanasemanga, an African, I don't know whether it's Luo or an African proverb that says that, uh, I know it in Luo, that if you see two bulls are fighting, just let them. One
Yeah.
will decide to leave and run away.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And
it's a normal.
before we wind up, Makobura, also Kisumu County has attracted so many members of the aspirants, especially those who are going to governor. Just to mention few, we have Jack Ranguma, who did his first term, is back. We have Ken Obura, who was also the first member of parliament for Kisumu Central. We have Rosa Buyu, we have Ruth Odinga, we have Adumo War, we have who else again? Uh, Joshua Ron, Dr. Joshua Ron, quite a number of them. And we will also watch, because like remember, even before the death of Baba, there was a time when Baba was in Nyakach and he said that the issue of Kisumu will be negotiated. So with the absence of Baba, who is going to negotiate for that? And that is also something that we should look forward to see. And there's also um, this say that people, the analysts, feel like this time around in this election that ODM, they're not going to capture so many members of parliament seat, especially outside the Luo Nyanza. I don't know how they are looking at it, and they say that all these political parties that are coming, including DCP and UDA and other small parties, will eat into ODM, those bases, especially in Western Kenya. When you go to Mombasa, you go to Turkana and all that. I don't know whether you also share the same view.
Yeah, still again, in politics again, if you want to be like a universal or a national leader, there's much that it involves.
Mm,
Part of it is associating with others, associating with them to an extent where
mm,
you they take you as somebody who understands them, as one of them, let me put it so.
mm,
The moment you have a few having that mentality, I mean having that acceptance,
mm,
then you can be a national leader. You've
mm,
seen some of them moving throughout the nation, but some of them have not been accepted. How many leaders have you seen moving across the Republic of Kenya? But if you go to any county, I mean, if they leave a certain county or certain constituency, and then you ask who was that leader who came, some of them would not even tell you. So all these things depends on how acceptable you are and how productive you are in terms of delivering to the people, how you are listening to the people, and all
mm.
that sort.
Okay, Makobura. All right, Makobura, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We were waiting for Msimamo, but he did not show up. Tomorrow we will be here and talk about the organization of United Opposition, because yesterday Mukisa Kitui, I know you know him very well. Yesterday he said that things are not very rosy. Remember when Rigathi Gachagua and the United team, before the Linda Wananchi came into existence, Mukisa Kitui was unveiled as one of the spokesperson that will be running the secretariat of United Opposition. And people really, really, the Kenyans really say that this was a very good move, bearing in mind the experience of Mukisa Kitui and where he has worked with the network, and people saw that this is a very good move. But ever since he was appointed to be the spokesperson, we've always seen that all these political parties have their own secretariat where they issue different statements. Rigathi Gachagua would issue the statement as per the DCP. We have the Jubilee, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, Justin Muturi. So it seems that every the principal, they have their own secretariat. So they've been sending mixed signals. They don't communicate in one voice, and they don't send the same message. So yesterday Mukisa Kitui talked about that, and he said that hey, we need to talk about it. Let's be very factual about this. So what is happening with the united opposition? Time is running out, and they know they're going to compete President William Ruto. So to me, I feel if they do not put their home in order, they are giving it a pass to President William Ruto to clinch the seat quite much easily. But if they united, President William Ruto will have to work more harder. So, like, that is something that tomorrow we will talk about, and we will say that how is this one making President William Ruto smile to the ballot? Because the more you continue to give conflicting statements and not united, that is advantageous to President William Ruto because he's studying you. Remember, he has we know he's the candidate for the government and he's the candidate for the broad-based government. For the opposition, you are still struggling and giving conflicting information, and each and every person having their own secretariat, Makobura. So that is something that tomorrow we'll talk about.
And that's okay. I think there's some level of confusion of the position.
Yeah,
Like I mentioned, things like political parties are things that they ought to have concluded by now,
yeah.
because it's now bringing a lot of confusion, and that is why you're seeing a lot of confusion on the leaders who are decamping or who are shifting to the other sides.
Actually, even if you look at the united opposition, the only people who are trying to engage people more is Rigathi Gachagua and Linda Mwananchi. We are not seeing more Kalonzo Musyoka on the ground. We are not seeing more of Eugene Wamalwa. We are not seeing more of Martha Karua. We are not seeing more of Justin Muturi. Matiang'i is trying, but you cannot compare what the Linda Mwananchi is doing, Rigathi Gachagua is doing to engage with the people, or to Kalonzo Musyoka, and Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, and all the united opposition. It's only Rigathi Gachagua and the group of Edwin Sifuna. Those are the people who are in popularizing themselves. So I don't know what's wrong with Kalonzo Musyoka, though.
Yeah. Uh, you know, I think this is the first time we are having, quite a number of opposition leaders when we are still almost a year to the general election. Remember,
Mm.
normally what we've always witnessed is a month or so, or 3 months or so. That is when we've always seen. Uh, that's when we've always seen that parties coming together. But this time around, if you look at the opposition, there are quite a number of parties, and I think the earlier they solve their issues, the earlier they come together, the easiest they will find it out here.
So that they can consolidate.
Yes,
Because, like,
it is
you know,
very necessary for them, and
yeah.
that is going to assist them penetrate the different parts of the Republic of Kenya, and
eh,
even the people will see them as a serious union.
but remember also, Makobura, I think there's something that also they need to do in earnest, because remember, when they will come together and say, choosing their flag bearers and writing on how they are going to share those positions, because that is very obvious, because no political party especially would go it alone. Even DCP, if they go alone, they cannot win. They might get good number of MPs from the region where Rigathi Gachagua comes from, but like, that one cannot make them win the presidency. So if they do it early enough, there are those disagreements, that fallout that usually comes during those negotiation, and because everybody wants to be given a position. So those who feel that, okay, here we've not no justice has been done to us. There are those who will go to the government side and say that we went there, we thought we would get position, we are not given, and we feel when we come here we will get. Remember what happened between Alfred Mutua after signing a memorandum of understanding with Azimio. He ended up going to President William Ruto, and President William Ruto offered him that, okay, if you are here, I'm going to give you this position in government, and he ended up getting it. So if you do it early enough, it gives that window period for those who would want to go back, or those who want to run, or those who want to the campaign you would do it and by the time you reach the voting day or the campaign period, you've already solidify your base very well. Like those who are going to fall apart have fallen, and now you have a path that you are following. So I think that is something that also they should consider right now.
Yeah, very well, because when you are within the government side, it's easy to negotiate amongst your political parties.
Yeah.
When you're in an opposition,
Mm,
you do not know where you're going, so all of you has to kill them to for
mm,
them to tell you that I want to be here.
yeah.
Everybody would try. So the better, or I mean, the early they sort the issues and have a political stand,
Yeah.
the better. Because currently everyone is speaking about the issues, everyone is trying to come out to be seen, and that is really confusing the people. It is confusing the supporters of the opposition.
Mm.
So it's something they really need to work on to ensure that there's that clarity on the stance of the opposition, and that, of course, would give them an added advantage. That would be my take.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Marco Bura, for taking your time to be with us in this afternoon session. Tomorrow we'll be here again, and we will discuss so many of this too. The people who are watching us, thank you so much, Goodia, Judith, Brenda, and Anindo, who joined us earlier. May you have a lovely evening. See you tomorrow evening, same place, same time with the same host. May God bless you all.